Die rote Ecke, den Herausforderer aus Deutschland, Yakup the Hunter Saglam.
Yakup Saglam, he's 36 now, born in Turkey, resident in Germany, 29, 2-0 since his debut 7 years ago. He's back this year after a year out. Didn't begin well either. Retired on his stool in the second round against Manuel Charles. Looked to be a really adventurous opponent, as Charles only been beaten once in his attempt to Vitaly Klitschko's WBC heavyweight title. The only other defeat on his record, a points loss against a relative novice of the time, Michael Wallisch. He'd only fought 6 times before. He's a big puncher. We've seen him plenty of times before, but in a certain class of fighters. Usually assured entertainment value whenever he's around, though, as he's only gone the distance in 2 fights in 6 years.
Sein Gegner war Weltmeister und Olympiasieger der Amateure. Er hat nur eine Niederlage aus dem Klitschko-Fight, Sie wissen das, als er sich verletzt. Der Mann kommt aus Havanna in Kuba und ist zurück in Deutschland. Hier kommt Odlanier Solis.
So you'll be looking when Solis emerges here to see what sort of shape he's in when he gets in the ring here tonight. The most discussed, perhaps the most written off, but for some still a fighter with potential to win a heavyweight title. For the rest, Odlanier Solis still a bit of a fairground attraction, really. You want to tune in just to see basically what weight he's at, whether it's up or down. First time we've seen him since Leif Larsen, a fight that was supposed to be one without fuss, but it turned out to be closer than anybody thought. And again, the most talked about aspect is condition coming into the fight. 19-1-0, the pro record since his debut 6 years ago.
La Sombra, Odlanier Solis.
Quality of opponent down the years. Well, again, the better fighters on that career list have all been at the back end of their career, or perhaps a bit past it. Monty Barrett, Carl Drummond, Ray Austin, more recently Konstantin Arik last year. The weight, he was down to 255 3/4 against Larsen. And there's no reason to suggest that he's going to be anywhere significantly less than that. Time to get serious, so they say. He's taking it seriously. Well, he looks, before he removes his shirt, Richie, to be in pretty decent shape. But is it hiding something?
Well, that's the biggest problem that's been with him, hasn't it? It's his own conditioning and his attitude towards boxing that's let him down. You know, we know he's got the skill and talent. Former Olympic champion, 3-time world champion as an amateur. I mean, the kid's done it all, but it's just his own attitude that's let him down as a professional.
Well, it was from the moment that he turned pro and arrived in the States, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, so, and he knows now that time's running out a little bit, 33 years of age, so he's got to get on with it now.
Referee just saying, think it's about time you left. Well, this guy can hit. He's always, Saglam, in very good physical shape, as you can see here. The quality of the opposition over the years. I mean, it was a brave attempt to take on Charles. I've got to say, actually, doesn't look in too bad shape. I mean, we've seen him looking a lot worse, a lot chubbier around the midriff than that.
Well, he doesn't look too bad, but if he's not doing any good, he should get the other fella just to the right of him, get him in the ring, no matter what weight he is.
Well, this could end early. It could be quite explosive, but it should be a good fight. Well, as you said, there's no doubt about this guy's talent at all. Was told by his coach that if he didn't actually sharpen up and start taking it seriously, then he was off. And he's worked with him many times over the years. And that fight against Larson, he turned up in camp at 270 pounds. Got down to that fighting weight of 257. But the producer was watching a video of him earlier on today, produced of him in training. And what is still very apparent, Rich, is the fact that he does have a blistering hand speed.
Yeah, very fast hands indeed. I remember commentating on him in the 2004 Olympics when he won his gold. Terrific hand speed, and obviously the skill as well of the Cuban boxers, just naturally talented. But yeah, his hand speed, as you've said, is exceptional, to be quite honest, and he's so deceiving for the look of the fella. He has got very fast hands indeed.
Well, there's a difference from letting accommodations go when you're in training, you're in sparring, which he was during the course of the making of his video, getting in there and doing it against somebody who's been around a bit. As he said, he was in against Manuel Char. It did look an odd choice of opponent, because you consider that only Klitschko had actually beaten him. He, well, maybe thought his talent stretched perhaps a little bit further than they did. But here, Solis is still a big name for him, and if Saglam can actually pull this one out the hat, then it will send a bit of a ripple around. But what it would do to Solis if he failed to win here is it would effectively, for the short term, simply end any hope whatsoever of him lining up a fight with either of the Klitschkos in 2014, which is what the plan is.
Yeah, good right uppercut that just went in there from Solis. Saglam just stood back and put his hands in the air as if to say, that didn't hurt me, but it did. It was a good shot, and he was acknowledging that. So Solis does carry a fair bit of power as well, but he's got this great natural talent that he has of, just as he's coming forward, he can adjust his feet to go back in a split second, just to maintain that gap, and that's that natural boxing skill and talent he's had as a Cuban amateur. Just maintains the gap very well.
And he did fight the legendary Felix Savon in his days as an amateur. But it's interesting, we know about with David Hay, but many of that generation didn't really go on to do an awful lot, actually, when he was dominating. And the running out to the Olympic finals, good hook to the body, though, that was by Solis.
I mean, not only winning the Olympics, like I said, he's three-time world amateur champion. 2001, 2003, 2005, retained his titles. Tremendous. I mean, the World Championships is...
Time! Well, a reasonable opening round from Solis. And Saglam staying out the way of some of the big shots. Let's see if we can... because he's a fluent English or American English speaker. Let's see what he's communicating it.
He looks half asleep. Well, yeah, good round, I thought, from Solis. Here, look at that left hook to the body. Super slip there. Just slipped, dropped his shoulders to the left, and then whipped that shot underneath the elbows of his opponent. Great shot.
He just looks so relaxed. It is. It's just like it's like he's half asleep. But Erna, his promoter, has said that he wants him to fight 3 or 4 times this year. He said the big problem with him has been inactivity. That was the reason why we didn't see the best of what he had to offer against Larson. And he certainly visibly slowed after he got a cut to the eye in the latter stages of that fight, about the 8th round, I think it was, and it slowed him down considerably.
Well, he's only had 2 contests in 2 years, hasn't he, Solis? So that's nowhere near good enough. And he's just got to box on a regular basis. I think his promoter knows that, and that'll keep him in the gym, and then you'll see the best from him. But there, look, just an example there of just moving back, maintaining the gap, making his opponent miss. And he's deceiving, he looks slow on his feet, and yet another lovely slip there and a left hook to the body. Saglam said it was low. I'd like to see that again, because his protector's quite high, isn't it? If you look at Saglam's protector, it's just coming out of his shorts. But again, lovely bit of skill from Solis there.
Makes you wonder what he would be like if he ever could. I mean, it's unlikely that he ever will get anywhere near close to 230. In fact, he's never ever fought at that weight before. The lightest he's ever weighed as a professional was 246 3/4. That was against Klitschko, and once before when he fought it was Sisi Salif back in 2008. But he's never ever been any lower than that. So he's around at the weight he is coming in here, 250 plus, not far off the lightest he's ever weighed in a professional ring.
Yeah, he's a clever boxer, Solis. You can see the way he's coming forward. He's actually inviting. He wants his opponent to throw shots because then he can counter punch. And that's why he's working and walking forward on that front foot, and he's looking for the opportunities. But he actually wants his opponent to throw the first punch, and then he can react to it. Clever boxer.
Saglam not really landed anything of note just yet. He's looking to drop that big right hand. Solis opening up a bit here.
Yeah, some lovely boxing, and I think the crowd there appreciated that bit of skill. Saglam has just been outgunned, and he's been outthought as well. He keeps dropping that left hand far too low for me. Saglam, he's got to watch what he's doing.
And he's got a fight for the German heavyweight title penciled in for November. Well, good round from Solis.
And if you look at Solis, Tim, he's not even out of breath. He's still breathing through his nose and not his mouth. Excellent round from Solis, I thought there. There's that left hook. Now that wasn't low, that was a good shot. That hurt Saglam. You'll complain in a minute saying it was low, but it wasn't. That was a good punch downstairs. And then moved in, didn't he? Left hook to the body, switched the attack with the right hand, and then brings the uppercut through as well. And then still thinking of safety at the end to get back to that thinking distance.
Lass die Linie nur hängen, wenn du weit genug weg bist. Wenn du nah ran bist, rechte Linie hoch. Und versuch rechts rum wegzugehen. Du gehst dauernd links rum weg, versuch rechts rum.
The last opponent that he actually stopped, remember, Larson went to a 12-round decision. Eirik went to 12 rounds amazingly. Klitschko, of course, ended it in one when his knee gave way. Ray Austin down once in the fifth and deducted a point in the 10th and disqualified for punching after the bell, Ray Austin. But the last fighter that he effectively stopped was Carl Davis Drummond when he stopped him in a third round back in March of 2010. So it's 3 years ago, the last opponent that Solis actually stopped. Pedro Diaz, his long-time coach, in the corner. Well, the referee telling them to get on with it. I don't think it's Solis that is trying to duck out the way of anything here.
No, Solis is just biding his time here. Just taking a look at his opponent, looking for that right hand. There it is again. Saglam has got to move more to his right and keep his left hand higher. He's going to walk onto a right hand. It's quite simple. If you walk into your left with a low left hand, then you're actually inviting the right hand from your opponent. And this Solis, he'll land it.
Again, looked a little bit low from Solis.
He's boxing well within himself here, though, Solis. Look, not even opening his mouth. He's very comfortable. The pace is definitely suiting him. And he's just looking for the opportunities and openings.
Frustrating this for Saglam as well, because he's not used to sitting in front of opponents like this.
And that was a better shot from Saglam. A good right hand there. Solis certainly felt that one.
Now this isn't where he wants to be.
No.
If Solis opens up as he did at the end of the previous round, but he's just taking his time. He won't actually do anything or waste energy unless there's a target there who just weigh his man down. Tries that uppercut and the left hook followed by the right hand. There's a brief glimpse of the hand speed of Solis, and now Saglam's out the way.
Yeah, the accuracy and the quality in the punching there was just plain to see from Solis. He's just biding his time and he's finding the gaps. Super boxing again from him.
Well, that's an invitation that he won't actually issue again.
Well, Saglam tried to change things around, didn't he? Sat on the ropes, but he'd come off second best. Solis found the target. The quality of the punching was superb from Solis. Just looking for the openings here. There's one through the middle there. Oh, just skimmed the target. Then there was the left uppercut and then the right hand, and he maintains the gap again. Good work.
Took a good shot there, did Saglam. There's barely a raised heartbeat, is there?
He looks bored, doesn't he? You know, another day at the office.
So what time's tea?
Yeah.
Round 4.
Round 4 of 12.
You clean this corner.
Saglam who's going to have to try and work a way around this, because Solis won't change.
Go on, go on, go on, go on, you are protect. Come up, fight.
Yeah, good refereeing. I mean, that shot there again. Look at the belt of Saglam. His protector.
Oh, he's gone purposely low there.
Yeah. It's a little bit high anyway, and that's what the referee knows. It's good refereeing, this is.
Hold your mind. I don't like it, okay?
Yeah, I agree with the ref.
Okay.
The belt's a little bit too high. And it appears that when the punch is landed that it's low, but it isn't if it's hitting that. Look at the belt, it's coming out of his shorts.
It's frustration really for as far as Saglam is concerned. You know, you get the feeling he'd be more comfortable with a tear-up out there rather than what he's got here.
Well, he's got to make it happen, hasn't he? The pace is definitely suiting Solis, and he's controlling things, and he's certainly controlling that pace. So Saglam's got to do things differently now. Yeah, maybe go on the front foot, keep a high guard, plenty of head movement, and put Solis under a little bit more pressure. Saglam's feet are far too slow. That's his problem. Put Solis under a little bit more. That's what he's got to do, maybe.
Yeah, he is landing the odd scoring shot, but really the punch count. I mean, we could almost count the number of punches on two hands here. But then it's nothing that we didn't expect. He'll do what he has to do to get the job done, Solis. There's the right hand, good shot.
Good punch that was, because he switched the attack there. He went downstairs, and that made Saglam think about moving them elbows down a little bit, which he did, and then he switches the attack with the shot to the head. clever boxing. But we've seen this before, haven't we, from Solis? We know how good he is, how talented he is. We need to see a little bit extra now. We need to see him finish this fella off. We don't want it to go too many rounds because people start getting bored and then they heap criticism on what is a terrific boxer in Solis. But he's got to start doing things now and finishing this fella off.
Okay, good agility from Solis. Well, Saglam has tried everything so far, but he can't find a way into this fight. And it is just proving to be terminally frustrating for him.
He just can't match his opponent for the skills, can he? Everything he's trying, he's coming off second best, and Solis seems to have an answer for. So sometimes you've got to throw caution to the wind and just go for it and try and drag him into a toe-to-toe battle. This was a little bit better from Saglam. Going forward, not too far away from with that one, was he? But then he slowed the feet back down again.
But you just don't expect, do you, a guy of this size, who often looks as laboured as he is, to suddenly just dance out of the way. I mean, look, you'd almost get a hammock in the corner for him to relax.
Yeah. That's why he's an Olympic champion, Timmy. He's a special boxer.
Box.
There's 3 Cuban boxers that have gone on since 1992, defected from Cuba and gone on to win world professional titles. There was Ole Casamayor back in 92. He won his gold at Bantam. Then there's Yorgis Gamboa. He won one in 2004. And of course, Guillermo Rigondo, who is still champion, double Olympic champion. He went on to win a professional world title also. But this fella's got it tough, obviously, with the Klitschko's at the top of the tree.
Well, he's got a few years on them, but the years are disappearing. He was once a prospect, a hot young prospect. As he said, he is now 33 years of age, just 33 back in April of this year.
And he's learning a new trade now, isn't he, as a professional? And what he's got to learn is to finish opponents off.
Well, Larson clearly fancied it, and he managed to drag Solis into a bit of a scrap. This is something that Saglam hasn't managed to do yet. He's just keeping his distance still.
Stop. I want to fight, okay? Stop.
Well, this is interesting. He gets applause from the crowd around here as well.
Well, I think Saglam is equally as weary, isn't he, than what it was Solis. I don't think Solis is weary of Saglam. It's the opposite way around, and that's mainly because everything that Saglam tries, he's getting caught. But Solis, again, he's showing those lazy traits, Tim, that he's shown in previous contests. Got all the skills, but we need to see more.
Well, this referee is clearly not going to stand for it. I suppose he could technically just walk in and say, that's enough, I've had enough. Well, Solis, he's got to get to a time where he's got to realise that if he wants to tempt one of the Klitschko's, then he's got to do something to show that he's actually a worthy opposition. What we've seen here, you wouldn't buy into that philosophy at all, would you?
No, he's got all the skills, but unfortunately he's just lacking that cutting edge, if you like, and that bit of nastiness and to finish this fella off. Because this guy isn't in his league in terms of skill, but he's stubborn and he's durable, and you have to get rid of these type of opponents, and that's what he's failing to do, Solis.
Well, it's all about selling tickets at the end of the day as well, and you've got to say that, you know, based on what you've seen, I mean, it's a no draw, isn't it? You know, against Vitaly Klitschko, or even Vladimir Klitschko.
Excuse me, I want a real fight, okay?
Well, he did have his chance, didn't he, against Vitaly Klitschko? He was knocked out in that first round, but he's got to climb the tree again and get back up there, and he's ranked number...
You hear the referee.
What's he say?
He's going into the corner with Saglam saying, listen, I want a real fight, I want a proper fight here. So Vladimir Klitschko in action against Alex Povetkin in October. Well, this is better. At least he's doing something, Saglam.
Yeah, trying to keep his opponent off with that jab. So he's just starting to counter-punch on the front foot again now, coming forward, looking to draw that jab, and he'll be looking to land that right hand. There it is there, look, just shows the little sign.
If you don't fight, I'll disqualify you, okay?
Well, he's got a point, Saglam. I mean, he's jabbing and moving. I mean, he's actually throwing something.
Yeah. I think that the referee's being a little bit harsh there, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he is. Well, that's better from Saglam, keeping Solis at a distance. It's better. It's good stuff from Saglam. He's unloading some of that frustration.
What he's got to do, Tim, a little bit more of is push Solis back. He's thrown a lot of good shots, but...
Solis hasn't landed anything in this round.
No, he's losing this round, but Saglam's got to start pushing his opponent back a little bit.
Well, the referee would have to work with Solis because he simply hasn't landed anything.
Yeah, fairly poor from Solis, I have to say, in this round. He's got opportunities here to land the counter. His plan's working to a certain degree of drawing the opponent's jab, but he's got to react to that and throw that right hand over the top. That's what he's trying to do as he's walking forward, but he's been a bit lazy in this round. Saglam's round. The first one he's won.
Oh, it's a good right hand.
There you go.
He's clearly unimpressed, though, isn't he, with Solis?
Yeah, he's been looking to land that right hand during that round, and he did it right at the end, but too little too late. He lost that round, Solis. And this is the problem. This is the frustrating problem we've got with Solis. All the skills, but just can't deliver that knockout shot.
The referee was a bit harsh there, wasn't he, on Saglam? I mean, he started the round, he was moving around the ring, jabbing, doing a bit of showboating. I mean, nothing outrageous.
I agree with you. I think he was a little bit harsh. And the referee. Good round from this fella. And they may be starting to push Solis back. You never know.
Round 7.
Solis out then, round 7. To discuss him actually taking on Thomas Adamek in a fight which eventually went to Steve Cunningham. They thought it would be a more attractive fight. But if he wins here, they were talking about an elimination bout against Kubrat Pulev for Solis.
Well, he's the IBF #1, isn't he, Pulev? But I think he's scheduled to fight Tony Thompson, isn't he, though?
He is, yeah.
On the 24th of August, and maybe the winner of that. But Solis has got to climb the rankings, hasn't he? I mean, he's number 10 in the IBF rankings and number 13 in the WBC. So, yeah, the winner of Pulev versus Thompson could be an alternative. But he's not doing any favours now here, Tim, is he? In enhancing his profile.
Because all he's doing is ensure people don't tune in to watch him next time.
Yeah.
And they can say how many last chances you want. Short right hand there. Jars the side of Saglam's head.
There's the shot that he's looking for. It's all right, put your hands up. That was a good punch there from Solis. But he's got to throw more of them. And maybe finish on the left hook after that shot. Good shot, there it was, the right hand, and again.
Now, can Solis do a bit of damage here? He's got him on the rope, Saglam. Saglam's going to have to hang on a bit here and grabs hold of Solis. And for the first time in the fight, with a minute left just under the 7th round, Solis explodes into life. Oh, look at that right hand! What a massive shot! Why do we have to wait so long? Why can he not do this more often?
Hey, it's all over, it's all over.
He's out, he's over out. Well, Saglam is claiming he can continue, but I think the referee's had enough. Oh, that was a massive shot.
Yeah. No, that was the right decision by the referee. He wasn't even looking at him when he was going to 9. You know, he was a bit unsteady. He produced that right hand, and we said that that's the shot he was looking for, and he's got to up the tempo a little bit, and he did in that round.
Well, they're loving it. They're loving it.
Yeah.
He clearly isn't.
And that's what it needed, though, Tim, because round after round it was more of the same. He was totally outboxing this fella. Obviously, Saglam saying I could have gone on, and I don't agree with that. I think that was a good decision by the referee.
Well, it's good to see they actually embrace at the end there, but he's still got a lot of work to do. I mean, you know, people are still unconvinced. You see these brief flashes of genius, these brief flashes of power. Here it comes. That was the first one.
Yeah, super boxing here. Goes to the body with a left hook and then catches Saglam then with that right hand over the top. But this is the big shot. Over it went. Superb timing and accuracy. Oh, tremendous punch indeed. See, he's not even looking at the referee when he started at 9. Good decision by the ref.
You was not ready on 8, man.
Well, he's saying he wasn't ready on 8. I think he's got a point. I think that referee clearly was not a fan of Saglam.
I don't think he was a fan of Solis either, to be quite honest. He's had enough, the referee had. But I thought that was a good decision by the ref.
Das offizielle Urteil. Ringrichter Jean-Pierre van Imschot aus Belgien zählte Yakup Saglam nach 2 Minuten 30 der 7. Runde aus. Und damit Sieger durch K.O. La Sombra, Odlanier Solis.
Well, there's applause there for Solis. He's clearly got a market over here. But for as much as we've seen some of these strengths, there are so many flaws to this guy that it would be impossible to actually sanction a fight against either Klitschko. He hasn't done anything to deserve it.
No, he hasn't, and he's got to climb. Maybe a fight with Pulev would be a fight that could get him that return with either Vitali or a fight with Vladimir. Got to improve, though.